Let's make a bet that if we strip down the architecture of this temple, inside we will find nothing more than just a hidden, wasted space. You don't believe us? Well, stay tuned and you'll see. Hello there, strippers of the architecture, and no matter how that sounds, welcome to another episode of Stripping Architecture, a platform where we strip down the city's architecture and urban phenomena in broken English. As we have already announced it, today we'll be talking about our good old friends, wasted spaces. In some of the earlier episodes, and you can find the link about those in the description, we've talked about how wasted spaces are very common in the built environment and how they are often resembled as a certain kind of an error in form of an empty space. Well, if you thought that wasted spaces can occur only in pressures with high building pressure, only in places with high building pressure or in between a lot of different infrastructures or densely built environment, now we will show to you how wasted spaces can actually occur in, figuratively speaking, larger bodies of empty spaces, precisely speaking, parks. Today we'll be talking about Cinquantenaire, or also known as Jubelpark. Generally speaking, the park was created in 1880, and there is probably a lot more to talk about its vibrant history, but for this episode it is just important to mention that it holds a monumental triumphal arch, museums, the largest mosque in Brussels, tunnel opening, variety of pavilions, fountain, many statues, and so on. This place is extremely important for the citizens of Brussels, where especially in the warmer days you can see how people with different cultural background appropriate and use this park in a variety of ways, which really motivates us to look at its wasted spaces and hidden potentials with increased interest and sharper critical eye. The first dead space that we are going to check now is this one over here, which is a linear section. They use it as a pedestrian sidewalk, but not very often because it's not comfortable. Let's see it. As you can see here, we have 1 meter of walkway, and there is one big ledge here, and then the fence. There is a go to the tunnel or something, but it's really uncomfortable for walking, so not many people are using it, and it turns out to be a wasted space. And as we're moving on the sides of the park, we find more dead space according to us. I don't know, judge it for yourself if you think it is or not, but check it out for example here. And then this section over here, which yes, it operates as for the traffic equipment, but again just nothingness. As we're walking around the park, we stumble upon more and more wasted spaces. For example, what is this for? And then corner, that's a master wasted space. Why? Because probably due to the big contrast from the open and sunlit space. And then that corner over there, which is always under shade, and it's covered, it's clinched between two big structures, and then you end up receiving a wasted space. Let's see. And whenever we're in this park, this place is always empty. See, it's a nice area, but for some reason, I don't know why, this remains always underused. Why maybe this bigger horizon of wasted space is underused is due to maybe one first reason is because the stairs over there are not prepared for ears, and then that corner over there, it's kind of a peeing place where people go to pee when they're drinking, so maybe that kind of combination of things makes this area to be really deserted during the day, as you can see now. But let's see that corner a bit further to really show the source of wasteness. So another thing, how the wasted space is being encouraged. For example, you have 3 gates here. The first one over there is probably from some kind of a shelter, or maybe an access to a basement. And this one, it's from some storage that's not used anymore. And here we have another door for the electricity maintenance unit. So this kind of unattractive gates doesn't encourage you to sit around all the time. Well, you might be guessing that this looks like a wasted space, but you're fooling yourself. The parking spot for the director of the Institute for the Army Museum. So these are offices over here, and there is a walking path, and I know that this is kind of a green buffer zone between the offices and the walking path, but really all this place here, wasted space. And another giant wasted space right behind me, and we're gonna check it right from over there. Let's go. So yeah, so this is the multi-layered wasted space. We have this long kind of a dead end street. Here you can see there's also this kind of a canal that's fenced from the public space, but also doesn't go anywhere, and that's blocked. The road is blocked over there. So this place over here, it's empty all the time, and then on the other side we have more of this. Let's see. And then, for example, this one over here, it's a nice maybe little chunk of green space. Now everyone would say, yeah, it's fine, it's a green space, but green space that's not used and it's kind of cut from the rest of the park, probably it's a wasted space. But I don't know, what do you think? Then look at this chunk of concrete here filling up this gap. We don't know, maybe it was for the bicycle, as a bicycle parking, but I don't know, it's a bit strange. However, it fills up this corner with wasteness, and if we go a bit further, you can see these nice trees, some entrance. There is a door, yes, for sure, and there is a door as well. This used to be gates back in the time, now are just, you guessed it, wasted space. And right behind me, a gap that is like this, underused for maybe around 5 years that we know of. So you see how the illogical configuration of the neoclassical buildings at the time created these kind of gaps, unnatural gaps, that they somehow can end up like a wasted space, and then they turn into this, into public storage for construction. And yes, you made it this far in the video and you deserved to see the captured wasted space. Well, inside this little temple there is a statue that, due to controversial reasons, it is open for the public only 1 hour a day. And this is what we call wasted but captured space. And this is the little tiny hole of the wasted sculpture. We don't know the history about it, probably we'll check it afterwards, but let's see it now. And sorry, what is this? Parking? Oh no! Wasted! So if we go back to our sketched version and critique and commentary of this space, we can see that there is plenty of wasted spaces. Are they that much problematic? Probably not. I mean, there have been concerns about how they can be sometimes dangerous during the night time in the park, but whatever. It's interesting that these places have plenty of potential. They appear everywhere due to different reasons. For example, in this case, they appeared due to top-down planning and designing of the space. Because in that time, when they designed this park, these were the things that were important, how they look from above. And actually, in reality, we get plenty of other different chunks of spaces that are actually really not in function as a use or any kind of spatial integrity. So how we stripped down this situation is that we have parks which are really important to our existence in the city, to all of the citizens, and still inside we have little tiny chunks that are not being used or are being neglected, like a little deserts in the park. I mean, now that we look at the sketch, actually it's an interesting idea for a future park development, but you see, there's ideas and potentials everywhere around and we just need to see them. But that's why stripping architecture is here to help you with that. Thank you very much for staying with us this time, and please subscribe, follow us at the Strip Architects. There's plenty of good stuff there, and you know, stripping architecture, the place where you learn about a city in broken English.